Students, today we'll see about comparative benchmarking. It is in addition to what we have gone through in how do we do benchmarking for metrics and needs. Here, this benchmarking is going to help us in following the best practices by the industry by observing the trends of other the best performing organizations and where we are by considering about different criterions, critical parameters, and to keep ourselves with metrics and values which are mentioned as specifications to look at where we are, what we need to do, how do we need to make our the position to be consistent or sustained or improved upon. So this competitive benchmarking, it is very, very important for any industry or an organization which needs to survive and also to sustain its position in the market, to do it as a regular practice. It's a process of comparing our company against a number of competitors using a set collection of metrics. Use it to measure the performance of a company and compare it to others over time. It includes looking at practices followed behind those metrics as well to define best practices for specific metrics and comparing those best practices to our approach what we have followed. And it's helpful to get an organized overview of a company and how it performs on different levels and also to maintain competitive. So this competitive benchmarking can fit around any business and every business and its departments also, and being as broad as and also as granular as we like. Coming to this competitive benchmarking, the steps are going to be like this. First, you require to choose the metrics to benchmark, upon which metrics we are going to compare. Then you need to choose the competitors to be compared against as based on these particular metrics. So that is the second important milestone to be done. And third one is going to be choosing the right approach of measurements of these metrics, which are universally acceptable depending upon where we wanted to compete, whether it's like a national or international, globally. So we require to see like what type of measurement approaches that we could choose for measuring these metrics. So that way we could make out like a 3 stages. Coming to the types of benchmarking, where we could make it as first prioritization about internal benchmarking, external benchmarking. Internal benchmarking means within an organization, trying to understand across the disciplines, across the departments, across the followed approaches at every discipline, and taking a decisions about either it could be comparable or it could be improved, where it needs to improve, where it is doing better, how it could be taken as a positive note, how it could be taken as a negative note. This could be done at an internal benchmarking. External benchmarking means again comparing across other competitors in and around world, depending upon where we wanted to be there as a role player. There again comparing across what mode we need to have the improvement. Coming to the second level of category is about functional benchmarking, process benchmarking, product benchmarking, competitive benchmarking. At every level of this particular benchmarking, it could be done either in internal or external. Okay, so both could be possible. Internal means our own development by seeing the best practices followed by division A and the practices followed by division B, division C, division D, and again trying to make ourselves, either it could be in a functional benchmarking, A versus B versus C versus D. Similarly, process, what has been deployed, and also like a products, what has been done by division A, division B, division C, D. These all comes under like an internal benchmarking. So what happens in functional benchmarking? A company will focus its benchmarking on a single function to improve the operation of that specific particular function. Coming to the process benchmarking, that the firm which is initiating this benchmarking exercise to focus its observations and investigations of business process with a goal of identifying and observing the best practices from one or more benchmarking firms. If it is going to be an external, other firms. If it is going to be internal, other divisions. Product benchmarking. This process can sometimes involve reverse engineering. It could be gathering the competitor products and trying to do reverse engineering on those products and understanding what is doing good, what made that particular product to perform that metric in a better way, and trying to again come from the top down approach, reverse engineering approach, and trying to put it across the product what we are giving it to the market, how it is being incorporated with these metrics, where we are lagging, where we are leading, how do we need to make our product to be leading. Okay, so to find out the strengths and weaknesses. Coming to the last one, competitive benchmarking, where allows the initiator firm to assess their competitive position by comparing products and services with those of target. So when you wanted to say that, okay, from with X, the organization I wanted to keep myself to be a competitive benchmarking means I need to keep X versus Y. And what are the things? What are the portfolios I am able to compete or participate? I can just take it out together. So this is a systematic the procedure which could be deployed in any organization or industry to come across this competitive benchmarking, where first you need to identify the area of the problem and the feature or service to be improved, or the competitors against whom we want to benchmark our products, and any potential partners with whom you would be interested to collaborate with or achieving the benchmark targets. All these things first we require to identify. Thereafter, you need to collect the data, the performance of the selected metrics, all the relevant data of benchmark targets specific to the requirements, and the best practice data of your partners and competitors, the measurement units and equations used by the competitors and the partners to calculate the benchmark values. Thereafter, we'll go for analyze stage, where compare the similar and same metrics for any gaps, the gaps in the process test being followed in delivering the product or service against that of the best practices, the performance data, and identify the scope of improvement, then the costs and benefits of the project, and perform risk assessment. With this, the first stage totally completes. Then what we require to go, you require to bring out the particular methodology to implement. So that particular second phase is going to be strategize, initiate, and implement. In strategize, prepare an improvement plan, get the approval from all stakeholders, keep your goal is SMART, select the team members and get them all aligned to the project. Keep updating your risk assessment plan throughout the product lifecycle. Create a corrective action and preventive action register. Then initiate your process by kickstarting the project as per the proposed plan. Invite all the relevant team members and stakeholders for the kickstart meeting and brief them about the project plan and the contributions relevant to the project. Hand over the roles and responsibilities to team members. Collaborate with any approved potential partners are available. Then implementation. Implement any ideas, new and best practices as part of the project plan. The calibrated measurement system for benchmarking the process performance. Continuous improvement strategies to keep abreast with the continuous customer demand. A system to capture the customer demand as a target and the respective performance levels. Then the third thing is going to be sustaining. How do we sustain this process, what has been implemented? The performances against the plan, changes in the requirement with the dynamics of the industry requirement, any new development in the market, the costs and the benefits attached to the project, monitor and manage the risk assessments according to any new challenges or developments in the project plan. This could be considered as a monitoring phase. Then benchmark, assess and recalibrate the achievements against the latest benchmark information available from reliable sources. Maybe in this particular process, again, some other the metrics which have been emerged out from the competitors could be again considered to maintain, sustain, and again continuously to improve, and submit the improvement data for benchmark to the stakeholders for approval to publish, retain as per the organization's requirements and policies. Then review process is the one which is going to be the finishing final project. Hand over the completed project to the process owners for sustaining and continually improving the process performance. Create control plan register for continuous review on the project performance. Review the corrective action and preventive action register and risk assessment plan to identify the reasons for any lapses and the assess the effectiveness of the action plan. This way, we could see like there is totally 9 activities under 3 phases. First, like a way how it could be compared across other organizations and identifying the metrics and collecting the data relevant to the metrics and analyzing those particular things against the other competitors. Thereafter, implementing that particular suggested or like identified the action plans, strategy development, initiation and implementation could be taken as a second phase. And the third phase is going to be like how do you monitor that particular process has been placed, how do you benchmark exercise is taken care by the regular way, and how you are able to make the review process. So that way it is called as the systematic flow line for this competitive benchmark. And also selection of these competitors, it is also having a certain guidelines. How do you need to select the competitive products for comparison? So it could be either based on the similar configuration or based on the materials similarity, or it could be based on the similar models, or it could be from products, or it could be from similar functions delivering products, or it could be from similarly made from a same processed products. So from there, the way you request to identify the suitable competitors in a specific domain, either based on the process, based on the products functionalities, based on the different products which are available in the market on the same line, or it could be from different models available, or it could be like a materials which are similar in usage, right? From there, you will try to review and sort ideas and go further for doing your analysis. So you could see the benefits what every industry is looking from this particular competitive benchmarking. You could see this automotive industry where the business challenge is to improve market share by understanding the potential game-changing efforts and initiatives undertaken by competitors. That is a basic challenge what they wanted to pursue, for which when they are doing this particular competitive benchmarking, what are the benefits they got in line is helped prioritize the areas of improvement compared to competitors. It happens definitely because they will be in a position to understand where they are standing, what is their position compared to the competitors, and they will try to improve that particular portfolios to rise up to the next level. And also they are able to get some predictive insights like identifying new market opportunities where they can just kickstart. If you just look at this food and beverage industry again, they are also done the similar type of competitive benchmarking process where it is mentioned that their challenge is to understand how they could improve market position by comparing with other business in the market. So to understand their market position when they started this particular competitive benchmarking, the benefits what they got is this helped monitoring competitors' performance and manage changes in the company. Based on the strategies what is followed by the competitors, they are able to understand something and they are able to make some changes in their company. And also the predictive insights of created a new marketing strategy and a brand image by relying on the key differentiators. Coming to the another field where you could look at like a healthcare, the business challenge is to analyze and outweigh the peers who are in the competition. For that, when they do this competitive benchmarking analysis, they got benefits like implemented processes and internal policies to surpass the competitors. And what are the insights they got? It is implementing business process to comply with the regulations. That's the thing. What they got a benefit because of doing this particular competitive benchmark. And also we could see way to keep ourselves aware of our own position. Competitive benchmarking against digital maturity indicators. To what extent we are good at having awareness about digital modifications and changes. In that, there's a company where they are just looking at digital data and leadership, people and culture, innovation partnership, structural readiness, customer orientation, data quality and availability, technology platform, sales and marketing. These are the fields where they wanted to bring out this particular the digital interference into that. So when they want to do it, the indicators, the people who have done good at one particular domain may not be good at other domain. So as a whole, there are nearly around 4 different the products which have been mentioned by the industry under the time scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scale. So they could see that no one has entered into 9th one, and a few domains they are able to reach to 8th. So for example, the yellow colored the product, maybe we could take it as a product D, where it is coming for structural readiness, where it has got the rating of 8, and also for customer orientation 7, and going to innovation and partnering it has come to 6, and people and culture 8, and where it has not done well is about digital and data leadership, it come to only 4, and coming to the sales and marketing and technology platform, it is resting on 2. Okay, so that way they could identify in which field they need to improve or develop. This is something called the radar chart. Similar to that, if you just go to that the blue one, that is doing good, but nowhere it is even crossed 7. So but they are able to perform at digital and data leadership compared to others. Okay, and that is the only place where they are having edge on other competitors. Coming to the maroon color, where you have got sales and marketing, they are in a very good position, and data quality and availability, they are in very good position. These two are properly dealt by that particular product. The fourth one is like, no, it is not dominant in any field, it is within the thing, of course, but it is able to perform better than few products on a specific domains. So this way we could get a clarity on like how each the product or each industry is performing. Accordingly, we can take a decision about where they need to invest or where they need to take a strategy moves for improving their position in those domains. Here you could see then and there people have to do, or the industry has to do the survey and try to compete with other the pioneers who are in the market to understand where they are. If you just look at the colored one where it is shown like a red, which is a pinned one, to understand their position in February 2020, okay, and they could compare with YouTube, Google, mobile YouTube app, and Good Housekeeping, PopSugar, Wikipedia, Knockfix. So where for 1 week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, top 10 competitors across the globe, they could find there are around YouTube is in very dominant position of 11% and above. Okay, and coming to this second one is about Google, which is lying a little closer to 9, and there is another one for mobile app YouTube, where that is also having to some extent above 8 in most of the places and a little lesser than 8. Okay, and it is maintaining that scenario. Then Good Housekeeping, which is coming around like a very variations are little more at February 11, and it is gone to the peak on February 14th, and thereafter again it's come down. So this particular trend or path which makes the industries to take a look at like, no, how, why it's happening like that, why we are not able to compete with other people, where it's lagging. Okay, so that way this particular information will definitely help us to continuously keep track of what is our position. This another the information about the industry which is taking care about this ground handler. Okay, who wanted to keep themselves in a limelight by comparing with the top 5 industry sectors in this particular business, and wanted to make out where they stand and how do they need to go for the future. So they have divided their metrics. The metrics are named as critical enablers and ground handling process, performance process, continuous improvement process, where the radar diagram has been made. Under this critical enablers, they have made management commitment, organizational culture. Under continuous improvement process, they are able to say enterprise alignment and process improvement. Under performance process, they are having benchmarking and results. Under ground handling process, they are having quality assurance and handling equipment. And you could see that the blue colored one is the ground handler and red color one is the average industry sector, and the green one is about the top 5 industry sector, how it's behaving and every domain. When you look at this way, the ground handler, it is doing much better than average industry sector in the positions of you could see here handling equipment. It is doing good, but it is not doing good at quality assurance compared to having lower than average industry sector. But they are doing good at performance process and also good, very marginal difference with benchmarking. And then process improvement, they are still lagging. Enterprise alignment also they are lagging. And coming to the other side, organizational culture, they are lagging. Management commitment, they are very well committed compared to average industry, above average. So with this, if they wanted to come closer to the top 5 industry sectors, they need to do a lot of hard work and strategy modifications and changes, and to work on that. Definitely they need to make their organization culture needs to be taken a very important role to rise their points across this particular domain. At the same time, they need to take care about enterprise alignment also in a better way. And then the other portion is quality assurance, where they're again lagging behind the average industry sector. So this way, every industry could definitely have a benchmarking which could help them to do better in their line. And coming to this, even academic institutions also, we are having this type of benchmarking relevant things, which is also named as a NAAC, where we'll be having the 7 criterion under criterions, 34 indicators, where you'll have, like, for University of VIT, we will be following this university method of evaluation, curricular aspects 150, teaching and learning and evaluation 200, research innovations and extension 250, infrastructure and learning sources 100, student support and progression 100, governance, leadership management 100, institutional values and best practice 100. So when you just look at these things, so these are called as again the metrics which are being evaluated across all the institutions, and you required to keep yourself always on doing better in your way of functioning at every aspect. And also sometimes the weightage factors are going to play a major role in identifying where I need to do much better, where I am a little lagging, how do I need to make my performance to be improving. So that way you could see every organization needs to look for this particular competitive benchmarking. So that's the thing, like a 7 criteria of NAAC, where each institutes which are looking for to compare. So today's class we were able to cover up on competitive benchmarking, why it is essential, what made it to be more important, and how the industries are taking this competitive benchmarking very seriously, and the need of this for their sustainability and survival and also continuous improvement. So with this, we have to ensure that every industry, if they want it to be in a limelight, need to undergo this competitive benchmarking and keep themselves always on par, and also to be on continuous role of updating.